Well, good morning. And how's your week been? Ah, man, that's probably the first time I've laughed this week. Sorry. Been fighting off this weird cough. That's probably the first time I've laughed this week. Yeah, I haven't had a whole lot to laugh about of late. Oh, geez. Well, I'm only going to say something a little political and then I'm just going to let it go. But I've been seeing a lot of my friends on Facebook. Not all. I shouldn't say a lot. I've been seeing a few of my friends on Facebook because the majority of my friends are actually very supportive of me and they're worried about, the consequences of what's coming in the next year. But I've seen some of my friends, I won't say a lot, some of my friends who, for the last 8 years, have basically been saying, you know, sorry, that, Obama's the Antichrist and we need to do everything we can not to let him, ram his agenda down our throats. I always love that one because that shows your Freudian slip right there. Don't ram the gay agenda down our throat. But, and we must do everything we can to oppose him and work against him and, all this other stuff. And then, like, come Wednesday, they're going, well, we all need to come together as a country and support our new president. President he who shall not be named. Okay, well, um, from this trans girl, uh, here's my coming together. See, they came together. Yeah, so here's my coming together. Right on. I also love the people who are kind of like now trying to walk back all the stuff. Oh, all the stuff that was said about Muslims and gays and blacks and women and stuff. That was just said to get elected, which means you were stupid enough to elect a serial liar as well. While of course Hillary was the big liar, crooked Hillary. She was a liar, but don't tell me that this guy said all these things just to get elected. Because you don't go around, you know, basically denigrating half the country. I mean, literally half the country in order to get elected. You might say that sort of action is deplorable. Maybe I should get a basket for that. But anyway, yeah, I'll have things to say on my Facebook page, and I'll leave them there. But that's all I'm gonna say. Needless to say, I'm doing my best to move on. It's not always working. Let me put it that way. I have had numerous friends, mostly in the trans community, contacting me and saying, they're like, at first they were like they were not nearly, some of them were, on the verge of suicide. And in the trans community, we've actually seen like a five-fold increase in calls to suicide hotlines. That's serious, folks, because as it is, as a trans woman, I have at least a 40% greater possibility of committing suicide than a cis woman. So when you're seeing a five-fold increase in suicide calls to a suicide hotline in like the 48 hours after an election, that's that's some serious stuff. Plus, we're also hearing that a lot of the alt right message boards are actually telling followers to find gay, lesbian, trans followers who voted for Hillary and just troll them into suicide, you know. Which, of course, President He Who Shall Not Be Named is doing nothing to quell. You know, a good leader would step up and say, hey guys, knock this shit off, okay? Enough with the white power crap, you know, knock it off. You know, you really make it kind of difficult to say we need to come together as people. You know, when white students are barricading the entrance to a school like it's a wall and not letting Latino students into schools, or you've got, like what happened here in Pennsylvania, just down the road from me, actually, about 30 minutes away, where white students were parading through the halls of their vocational school with a sign and screaming white power. You know, a good leader would step up and say, knock that shit off. A bad leader would let it happen. And I think you know where we're coming from. So, anyway, what's next? How about writing? Look at my hair. There we go. I haven't been able to get a lot of writing in this week. Surprise. The majority of my writing was actually done on Thursday evening when I wrote like 1,250 words. But last night I didn't write anything because I went out to dinner and I was kind of despondent. And I went out to dinner and I had a couple of drinks and I sat there and I had a delicious mozzarella and tomato sandwich. I was down at Baca Pizzeria and Wine Bar, one of my favorite places. And I know the manager of the place pretty well. And he actually gave me on the house a slice of pumpkin cheesecake because he knew I wasn't feeling well. So he did that for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you. It's nice to have friends like that. So when I got back, I didn't really feel like writing. I'd had a couple of cocktails, and I wasn't in the mood. So today, I have to go get my nails done. I have to. I've had these nails for 3 weeks now, almost 3.5. So I need new nails. Me and a friend are going to go together. This is the first time I've went off for a mani-pedi with another person since like July. And the woman I'm going with, she actually worked over on the Camp Hill side, on the other side of the river, the West Shore, as we like to call it. She was training poll watchers for the Hillary campaign. She's rather despondent too, so we figured we'll go get our nails done. We had made this plan like a couple of weeks ago. We'll get our nails done today. She's got to do some catch-up work this afternoon because she's way behind. And then after that, we're going to go to dinner and sort of commiserate, look to the future and, talk girl stuff, I guess. So we'll see where we go with that. But this afternoon, I have to get a box so that I can return a coat and then, put the box together, put the coat in the box, take it out. I got to go into work and print off the return label. Hold on. Man. Print the return label. And then, boy, I apologize. And then mail it. So that's probably going to take a good 90 minutes of my time. And I have recap I need to do for the last episode of Black Mirror, which I've been sitting on now for about a week and a half. And I think I'll start on it this afternoon and then finish it up tonight after dinner if I'm not too drunk. Probably not. Maybe get it out tomorrow. I'll see. But I need to get back into the novel in a good way. And I did feel good writing Thursday night. I felt pretty good because it was really the first night where I've had like this uninterrupted stretch of time to actually write. I didn't have it yesterday because, well, I went into work for 4 hours, and then I came home and took a nap for like about an hour and a half. I was tired. And then, like I said, dinner. So that day was kind of shot to hell. But I'm actually in the penultimate scene for chapter 5 now. The scene where I actually started to write it originally and then said, oh, wait a minute, no, I skipped a scene. So I stopped. So I've got about 400 words in that scene to start it. And that's the penultimate scene. And you're going to see Annie and Carrie at dinner in a really fancy place in Paris. Yes, this is going to be like top notch, and you're going to be very surprised where it's at. But the reason they're having the dinner is because it's their anniversary. In the novel, the scene that you were actually reading in excerpts, and I'll publish another excerpt maybe later today, maybe tomorrow morning. Oh, probably tomorrow morning if I don't do it this afternoon, where they're in the Musée d'Orsay. That's actually on their anniversary. I mean, that was made kind of clear at the beginning of the scene. That's their 2-year we met physically anniversary when they first laid eyes on each other, and oh, there you are. And Carrie didn't know who she was. And turns out Annie was kind of like, I don't quite know who you are either. And then once he spoke his name, her light bulb went on and it cleared up her memory. Yeah, because she had a slight memory problem. We determined that last year. She had a slight memory problem. She remembered his name. She couldn't quite remember exactly what he looked like, and it messed her up a little bit. But we know what happened in that first novel. So I love the anniversaries. I love how they get together. And the thing is, for their D level, because of the time passing, you know, it's their anniversaries are getting to the point where it's almost like departure time for them to go. I have a very special idea for them in the D level novel when it comes time for their anniversary, and I know pretty much where they're going to spend it. So we'll go from there. It's going to be interesting. But I love all their little tender moments like that. Where they get to just kind of relax and be kids, but they're kids in an adult world. And Annie really seems to be quite comfortable being the little rich girl that she is, just wandering into these places and not letting it bother her one bit. And that's what they're going to do when they go to this restaurant. You know, Annie's going to kind of take the lead here because she's used to this kind of environment. And she can handle it. Carrie, on the other hand, would just sort of fold up and like, I'm sorry, I'll go now. He hasn't quite gotten it through his head that he can act that way. I mean, it was like that when they went to the restaurant in Berlin, when they went up to the revolving tower restaurant, and Annie had managed to secure a window table for them, and she was just like, you know, reservation for Kilova. I have a table, and they just, you know, took them off and sat them down, and here they are, like these two 13-year-old kids. Well, at that time they were actually 12, wandering through this restaurant with the maitre d' leading them, and other adults are probably looking at them like, what the hell? Where are their parents, you know? And then they sit down at the table and have dinner. And it'll be the same way in this Parisian restaurant. They'll just come in, and Annie will act like, you know, this is where I'm supposed to be, bitches. Don't look at me strange. Haters gonna hate, you know. So we will get to see that. We'll get to find out something else that's bothering Carrie. Carrie's having a lot of problems. I don't mind saying that. He is having a lot of problems on this part of the trip. This is completely different than when they met in Berlin, where they did a lot of sightseeing. They were actually really, really happy. You know, Carrie got to finally spend a lot of alone time with Annie in another city, and knowing what they were doing, knowing who she was, being able to love her the way he wanted to be. But because of the last 2 weeks of shit that happened at the Malaby house before he went to Paris, he's really having a difficult time with everything. I mean, it seems like there's all these situations, all these issues revolving around Carrie during this time. And it was sort of like what he said at the very beginning. I didn't want to tell you any of this stuff because this is your favorite city in the world, and I don't want to ruin it for you. But unfortunately, he's having issues, and you got to feel sorry for the kid, because it's probably also at the same time, he's probably feeling something inside, feeling some guilt over the fact that sorry, Jesus, that he is kind of ruining Annie's moment here in Paris. You know, they should be loving and laughing and going all sorts of different places. And here he's just dealing with a ton of emotional baggage. So you'll get to hear just one more thing that's tipping that emotional baggage scale. This kid is going to be messed up by the time he gets to school. He's gonna break out of it, but it's kind of hard for him. You have to feel sorry for Carrie, and you have to feel sorry for Annie too, because it's killing her as well. As she has stated, when he feels bad, she feels bad. When he's in pain, she's in pain, and it hurts her too. And you can kind of see it with this. You'll see it in this next excerpt, that she's really trying to do everything she can to comfort him, and doesn't know if it's quite enough. You know, Annie's actually starting to have some doubts about, you know, what can I do to make Carrie feel better that don't involve sex? Let's not go there, kids. You know, but there's always that. Carrie, I know something that would make you feel better. Get your mind off of this, maybe. I don't know if that's how Annie talks. I've only heard, I've heard a Hungarian speak English. I actually heard it in Holland, in the Netherlands. The Netherlands, where I have women, and they kind of talk like this, you know, a little bit, when they speak the English. And the Hungarian sounded kind of like that. So I imagine when Annie kind of speaks, she probably has an accent sort of like this, you know. She talks to, come on, Carrie, let's go. Do you want to go to the Eiffel Tower, Carrie? And Carrie just loves that accent. He does. He's even said, I love her accent. I love Annie's accent. And then she switches over into Bulgarian and starts cursing. So, yeah. There you go. We just got the picture. So that'll be coming up. And then they're off to school. And then I'll just spoil this right now. Once they get to school, it's just going to be more reminders to Carrie of what's coming that year, which is what he doesn't need right now. And they're going to go out and they're going to see Deanna. And they're going to have their little vision together. Yes, they will. This is another thing. Deanna wants to. Deanna loves to see their visions. It's. You don't know why. But she does have an extreme interest in them. And we also know that Deanna's going to be teaching them special things like taking them into the astral realm, which will be fun. They'll actually finally get to meet the Phoenix, probably, because the Phoenix likes to just show up and screw at people. And you've already seen, they do go in there, so there probably will be a scene where they run into that tricky little spirit. It's going to be hard to say whether or not they're going to get the shit scared out of them or not. Would Fee actually do that? Who knows? I mean, she basically let Carrie go the entire school year, with him damn near losing his mind over a mental block that she had put into place that was, literally just tearing him apart. And when she was done with it, she was like, my bad. Sorry. I was eating a Milky Way. That was her excuse. Oh, she was looking at her nails. Oh, you almost went insane because you needed to do something in a dream and you couldn't because of my mental block? I'm sorry, I was eating a Milky Way bar. Yeah, you're lots of fun. You're lots of fun, Phoenix. So that'll also be something when you think about it, because she will show up in this novel. You'll get to see her. Well, we don't know what she actually looks like. I have a pretty good idea, but you'll get to see her. And that's going to be like 3 novels in a row. You've actually seen her. She was in the first novel, remember? She did the ENAs, so we got to kind of see a human representation of her. And then we got to see both a human and an astral representation of her. Now we get to see probably another astral representation of her. Are we ever going to see another human version of her? Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, bringing her on at least once a year just to screw with people. It's always a lot of fun. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know if she's going to show up in the D-level novel. I do know she will show up in the E-level. For sure she's going to show up in the E-level novel. And she will show up in the F-level novel as well. So we're going to get to see... we'll get to see a lot of Fee. Well, not a lot, but she's sort of like this walk-on. Almost like a Deus Ex Machina, where she just sort of shows up and reminds you that your silly little pathetic human life I could snuff out in a second if I wanted. Now, she's never really quite did that, but she has made it clear that her whole job there at Salem is to guard the school and make certain the best students in the world come out of Salem. But beyond that, she doesn't give a shit about humans. How can she? I mean, that's like us caring about ants. Some of us do. Some of us will go out of our way to keep from stepping on an ant hill until we realize that those little bastards, if they could ever organize into the billions and billions of creatures they are, would probably decimate human society in a matter of weeks, given the opportunity. And the Phoenix is sort of the same way. She's like, humans. They're cute. They're fun. They're sort of like an experiment. And in reality, that probably is kind of how she looks at it. She probably does kind of look at it as, I'm protecting these silly little meat bags. Because eventually, they're going to end up running the world. And I want to see what happens. I want to see what comes of this. I mean, there's a real good possibility she knows everything that's going on with these, with everybody at school. How can she not? I mean, that's her job. So she probably knows everything that's going on at school. But does she care? No. Could also be kind of bad because it's like, I wonder what these two are up to. Oh my God. I didn't want to see that. But again, she's such an advanced being that to her, humans, they're so precious. It's like us keeping a hamster in a cage. Oh yeah, look, they're cute. Look at them run around on a wheel. Isn't that fun? So there you go. So this video is almost done. I've been talking on for 27 minutes now. I didn't expect it to go that long, but I think this is probably as good a place as any. So I will get my nails done. I will get some dinner. I will get some packing. I will do a lot of things today. I'll start to work on my recap. I'll get more out to you later. Like I said, the additional part of my excerpts should come. Well, I won't say should. It may come later this afternoon. It may not. But definitely tomorrow for sure. So, and I need to get in some more writing. So tomorrow for sure, I'm going to get into things pretty heavy. So I will let you go. I'm checking the time here. Look at that time. I will let you go. So take care. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the rest of the month of November. Here we go. And see you around. See you on the blog. Come out to the blog. Bye.